Outdoors Delmarva covers everything outdoors,
including real hunting and fishing situations involving wildlife.
We do our best each week to bring you tasteful content,
but viewer discretion is advised.
Now enjoy the show.
We begin this week in Smyrna to unveil the winning Delaware waterfowl and trout stamps for 2026.
It's then down to Bennett's Pier Beach to look for as many birds as possible at this year's Bird-A-Thon.
A Delmarva country music legend is honored in this week's Remembering Scorchy Talls.
And we'll cap off the 2024-2025 WBOC Mountaire Farm to Table Scholarship Program.
Outdoors Delmarva starts right now.
Welcome to Outdoors Delmarva, the show that celebrates our communities, our cultures, and traditions in the places we call home. My name is Jason Lee.
And I'm Lauren Hitch.
Lauren, I got 3 words for you. Labor Day weekend. And you know what that means? I will tell you what that means. That means most of the tourists have gone home, which means the beaches are now belonging to the locals again. The gyms are no longer the daycare for the broccoli brigade, so they're all going back to school. And let's see, the only traffic we're really going to be worrying about is getting stuck behind a combine on Route 13. And we got ducks and deer.
Yeah. You should really work on learning to express yourself better.
Oh, I'll work on that.
This is Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards. And now, here are Jason Lee and Lauren Hitch.
Lauren, you know how much I love waterfowl hunting. So when you asked me to join you for the reveal of the 2026 Delaware Waterfowl and Trout Stamp winners, well, my heart was beating faster than a bufflehead's wings.
I hope those at home enjoy the reveal as much as you, though I'm not sure that's entirely possible. We're here at Bombay Hook National Wildlife Refuge, and there's a lot of beautiful artwork behind us. And I'm here with John, and he's going to explain what all this is.
Lauren, this is the Trout Stamp Contest, and every year we select a winning artwork for the following year's Trout Stamp. And so these are the entrants for the 2026 Trout Stamp. We'll pick one, and that winner will receive $250 for being the winning entry. The Trout Stamp is used to bring in revenue that we then match with federal aid dollars, and we use that money to buy trout. And the Trout Stamp brings in typically about $50,000 a year that then matched 3-to-1 with federal aid funds, so it brings us up to about $200,000 we can spend on trout.
What are the judges looking for to pick a winner?
The realism of the trout, how good the trout looks, the habitat that the trout is in. And one of the important things is, because this is going to be shrunk down to a stamp size, is if a painting is too busy, obviously it will not shrink well. So it has to be something that shrinks nicely down to the size of a stamp.
Now, if people are interested in doing this next year, when should they look about this on the website?
Probably early next year. I mean, our fishing guide typically comes out in February, and they can start reading about it then and start painting away.
This is the 46th year, if I'm not mistaken, since 1980 we started the program. It's generated over $2.8 million for habitat restoration. That's all generated again from the stamp sales and also through the print sales. This year's winner of the Waterfowl Stamp Contest is Gerald Putt from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So the last one we have is the Trout Contest. And this has been going on in Wells for 46 years as well. It generates about $35,000 every year towards our trout program. That money is used to purchase trout so we can stock the different ponds and streams and waterways here in Delaware. And this year's winner is Charles Wurst. Beautiful, beautiful.
What a fun evening, and I know that Jason will be checking his mailbox next year, waiting for his waterfowl stamp to arrive.
As Tom Petty said, the waiting is the hardest part.
You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, which is presented by Gateway Subaru. higher standards.
Land preservation in Delaware is a big job, and it takes quite a bit of money.
So when organizations like the Delaware Ornithological Society decide to use the funds raised during this year's Bird-A-Thon to help our friends at Delaware Wildlands, the only thing to do is grab your binoculars and hit the beach. Thanks for having me out here, and I got a question for you. Where are we?
Well, we are at the end of Bennetts Pier Road here in the Milford Neck area at a parcel of property that we in our society are trying to raise money so that it can be purchased and set aside as a bird sanctuary to allow migratory and nesting birds to have a wonderful space to do their business.
You're saying that you're here to help preserve this area, but how are you actually doing that?
Well, this next week, Delaware Ornithological Society runs our annual Bird-A-Thon. And what we do is across the state, we form teams that go out, and in a 24-hour period, we try to count as many birds as we can. Folks that are sponsoring the team. So, 10 cents a bird, $1 a bird, or whatever people feel comfortable giving. We'll donate those funds to a land trust or some other organization that will manage the land. It could be Delaware Wildlands, Nature Conservancy, other groups. We've had state properties that have benefited from our fundraising. Last week, I delivered a $50,000 check to the Sussex County Land Trust to help acquire a parcel of land in Lewis. That's the last farm in Lewis that hasn't been developed. If we don't have places like this preserved, we're going to lose these valuable species. And I'll also point out, you probably have a lot of hunters in your audience. If you didn't have spaces like this is a factory for black duck.
Oh, okay.
Because they will nest in the marshlands along the little winding creeks. It's also a fish factory because these estuarine, these tidal saltwater pools are where smaller fish can grow, and then that will sustain your population in the Delaware Bay.
Is this the only Bird-A-Thon that you guys have for the year?
This is our major fundraiser for the year. We do one every year. We've been doing it now for about 17 years. Over that period of time, we've raised over $880,000 and preserved over 2,800 acres of wonderful landscape like this.
How can people get involved for next year or really throughout the year?
Well, you can actually go onto our website today and really through the end of May or in the first part of June, you can make a donation. And there's a little menu item for Bird-A-Thon. It'll tell you all about this property, why it's important, and how you can make a contribution. We have a little bit of friendly competition. We have some door prizes and other things that incentivize people to do more and to beat last year's record. Birders tend to be a little competitive, and so we take that energy and we put it to good use.
If you were to be invited into someone's living room and they said, give us your 15-second elevator pitch as to why what you're doing is important, what would you tell them?
For our own psyches, we need to get out in nature. We need to experience wilderness. You don't have to fly to Montana or to Yosemite to experience wilderness. This is wilderness in Delaware. It has everything that you expect in wilderness. And so, to me, we're benefiting the birds, but we're ultimately benefiting ourselves.
Preservation and conservation starts with each of us. So if you'd like to help keep the first state as wild as possible, go online to dewildlands.org and find out how you can get involved.
We've got more for you right after the break, so stick around.
You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
I think everyone wants to leave a lasting legacy.
And I can't imagine a bigger legacy on Delmarva than Scorchy Taw's, but we found a clip where he may have met someone who edged him out by the brim of a Stetson.
Honoring the life and legacy of Scorchy Taw's, thanks to Shorts Marine in Long Neck, Delaware. Shorts Marine, everything but the water.
I want to present to you the king of country music from Eastern Shore, Mr. Bill Godfrey. Mr. Bill Godfrey, ladies and gentlemen.
They came by the hundreds, those that remembered and those too young to remember. They came to honor Bill Godfrey, who for over 40 years was king of the Delmarva Country Music Hill until ill health forced him to quit in 1981. Country musician Boogie White describes him best.
Bill's just been a country person. He's been associated with hundreds of musicians on the shore. Either they played with his band, or he's played with them, or he's affected their life.
And this day they affected his.
How do you feel about all these goings on today?
Why, it's just fantastic. I never had so much VIP in all my life. And I don't really deserve it.
But Bill did deserve it. Deserved every accolade they showered upon him, and was touched deeply with the reunion of his beloved original String Kings band who gathered for the occasion. And when all the honors were bestowed, foot-stomping, hand-clapping country kicked into gear, and the Red Man's Lodge in Salisbury was a-shaking. To be loved by everyone is the greatest wealth a man can have. Bill Godfrey has that wealth. And when they ask him, "Sing us one more song, Bill. Take us back to days of yore," he reached back and found it, and there wasn't a dry eye in the house.
Here have I told you lately that I love you. Well, darling, I'm telling you now. Well, darling, I'm telling you now. Thank you, thank you. You're all very, very kind. Thank you.
Remembering Scorchy Taws is sponsored by Shorts Marine. Online at shortsmarine.com.
Did you know that the scientific name for the Atlantic blue crab is Calonectus sapidus, which in Greek means beautiful swimmer?
Did you know that the Atlantic blue crab is considered an invasive species in parts of the world like Italy?
And did you know that it was Virginia who first put a size limit of blue crab harvesting back in 1912?
Now you do.
Did You Know is sponsored by North Bay Marina. Outdoors Delmarva will be right back. You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, which is presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
A new school year means new hopes, new dreams, and new winners of the WBOC Mountaire Farm to Table Scholarship Awards.
But before the new crop of winners is announced, we're taking you back to the Delaware Ag Museum for one final look at the 2024-2025 recipients.
I want the students who are recognized tonight to understand that we can only select 10 winners for this scholarship each year. 5 from the culinary field, 5 from the agricultural field, and we accept applications from over 50 high schools in the region. And so if you get one culinary student and one agricultural student from every one of those high schools on the eastern shore of Maryland, Delaware, and Virginia, you wind up with over 100 applicants. Whether it's the hardworking men and women that grow and raise our food in the fields, or the people behind the scenes to help make that food palatable and delicious, it's worth recognizing that you guys have chosen a path that may not have been the most common path amongst your peers, but it's one that's going to influence every one of their lives. And after you receive your checks today, you will be part of a cohort of Farm to Table Scholarship recipients that have received $150,000 in scholarships over the last 3 years. So that's a huge investment back to our communities, and it really reflects the investment that our neighbors make into us at Mountaire Farms.
I grew up working the land side by side with my dad. Grew up in the kitchen as he taught us how to cook. And that holds a really close, sacred place in my heart. Because I watched my father, my mother, my grandparents work the land. Take a seed and allow it to grow into something beautiful. You're recognized more than just your skill. You're recognized today for your leadership. Now you might say, why is that important? It's extremely important today in America. We need strong leaders, especially amongst agriculture and culinary arts. Did you know that only 1.7% of Americans are involved in production ag? 1.7. Then when you look at food services and culinary practices, only 10% are involved. So add them together, right? 11.7% of you sitting right here take care of 88.3% of America. But let's stop there, because how many of us just stop here in the American pipeline? Our agriculture products go all over this world. So think about the impact each of you can have and are already having. 11.7% taking care of this world. Then you're the backbone of the nation. You're the ones who will plant, prepare, and plate the future. Man, what a gift. What a challenge. What a calling that is.
The WBOC Mountaire Farm-to-Table Scholarship Program is returning for another year, and to learn more about it, go online to WBOC.com and search Farm to Table.
We'll check out some viewer photos when Outdoors Delmarva returns.
You're watching Outdoors Delmarva with Jason Lee and Lauren Hitch. Presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
It's time to flip through the photo album and take a look at a few of your latest pictures.
Thanks to our friends at North Bay Marina.
Patricia Sterling of Wyoming surprised us with a rare photo of an iconic vehicle seen at the Delaware State Fair. It's almost as iconic as the Outdoors Delmarva Gateway Subaru Outback. Almost.
Laurie Milnes of Millsboro sent us a couple of photos from her home. This dragonfly was hanging out, and these sunflowers were blooming. Thanks for the photos, Laurie.
Terry Sobolewski of Eden usually sends us regular updates of Sasha outliving her best life. But this time, we got these most excellent photos of Osprey in the Whitehaven area.
And George Ball sent us this drone video from Robbie Ball of a storm approaching the trap area of Talbot County. This was the storm from the evening of July 9th.
Outdoors Delmarva viewer pictures are sponsored by North Bay Marina.
And that's going to do it for us this week. Thank you so much for tuning in.
And thanks so much for sending in those wonderful viewer photos. If you have a photo that you'd like to submit, you can do it by going to outdoorsdelmarva.com and clicking the banner at the top of the page, or scan the QR code in the bottom corner of your screen.
We hope that you have a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Stay safe out there and grill us up a hot dog or two just for, we like those. And we hope to see you right back here again next week. But until then, my name is Jason Lee.
And I'm Lauren Hitch, and we hope to see you Outdoors Delmarva.
You've been watching Outdoors Delmarva, a Draper Media production, which is proudly presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards. Sponsored by Shorts Marine, everything but the water. By Bell Creek Equipment. For farm, home, or fun, Bell Creek is #1. By Range Time, time well spent. And by Hunter Emery State Farm, your good neighbor in the outdoors.
And 3, 2.
The bugs are unpaid actors.
The bugs are unpaid actors. Yeah. Well, we're outdoors.
Yeah.
And, we're actually in their backyard, literally.